Okay. All right. I think I'm everywhere I want to be. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Circle of Light meditation. You like my tomatoes behind me, back as a backup, a backdrop. I had to pick them before it got really cold here. I'm hoping that they'd ripen, as a few of them are. So anyway, so it's nice to be back again for another Wednesday. I did some meditation last night with my husband, and we've started doing more meditation in the evening. I try to do morning mind quieting. And in the evening, we just listen to usually like music, sometimes a guided meditation. And when we were listening to singing bowls, it's interesting because singing bowls are, used in a lot of Buddhist meditations, and I was connecting with this beautiful vibration of what seemed like a wise, ancient, old man who looked like Confucius or Lao Tzu. And I was kind of like, what's your name? Who are you? And it was just like, nope, there's no name. Just see me for who I am, is like an ancient one. And I really appreciated that, because that's, moving away from ego, and where we don't even need names, right? So I wanted to do a meditation this evening about that sort of energy, because I try to read into the energy that's around me and around, the collective. And what I've been picking up on is, the past few years have been quite intense, obviously. And even after, things have sort of settled down, and all the ones who think they control things have stopped trying to, push the gas on to create sort of chaos. There's still a lot of chaos still. It's like, after you stir up a pond and all kinds of like mud and debris gets stirred up, there's still a lot of debris that's still muck. It's like mucky, it's murky. That's the word I'm looking for, murky. And so we're kind of dealing with murky water, and a lot of people are really suffering health-wise. Unfortunately, we know what a lot of that is from. And just emotionally and spiritually, there's a lot of people who are just kind of broken, or just seeking and in sort of cognitive dissonance. So those of us who are here to carry light, and who, we know if that's you, right? If you're listening, it's probably you, who've been through a lot. It's kind of like the spiritual warriors here on earth. We are really being asked to step up and be of service more than ever. And I know that a lot of you have been experiencing this. As we were asked to be of service, at the same time, we're still going through our own, healing different patterns, breaking different patterns, healing trauma in our own lives. And how do we know that? Because we experience it. We see things that come up with different people in different situations, and we're like, why is this happening again? I thought I healed that. I thought I dealt with this sort of thing. And it feels uncomfortable. We just want to push it away. We don't want to deal with this sort of uncomfortable situation, but that's the work, right? That's how we move into higher states of consciousness, is being aware of, or just seeing, okay, there's something going on. What am I meant to be learning? Just asking that question. What am I meant to be learning from this? We don't always know what it is, but when we just ask ourselves that question, that opens us to the receiving divine guidance to then move through that learning. I've been experiencing different sorts of energies recently. I had a really wonderful conversation on the Expanding Reality podcast about just consciousness and the Akashic Records, and Brandon Thomas is the host, and he really kind of expanded my mind with some of his ideas. And I've been doing a lot with getting the book, the Tools for the Awakening Soul book, into bookstores, and kind of doing more outward kind of out in the physical world, not as much in the online world, more than I have in a while. In that there's energy, there's a lot of, excitement in that sense for me. And on the other hand, I've noticed that in certain, relationships with people in my lives, including people I wouldn't always expect, there's been some turmoil. There's been some like strange behavior I've observed, and that, for me it's like chaos. So it's like highs and lows. That's what I'm getting at. Highs and lows. So there's things that you may be experiencing this too. Something we were excited about, something we feel good about, and there's this, why do I have to deal with this? Why is this person saying this? Or why is this situation coming up? I don't want to deal with this. So, what it always comes back to this just amazing metaphor of being a mountain. And what does a mountain do when there's a storm? A mountain is a mountain is there. It doesn't move. It's immobile. It gets battered with rain. It gets blasted with strong winds, hail, snow, cold. And maybe there's pieces of rock that will fall off the mountain, but the mountain is still strong and stable and just grounded. That's the word I'm looking for. So how can we be like that in our lives? How can we're witnessing things that are hard to witness, that it can trigger us. It can trigger past life stuff of things we want to control, things we want to help people. We want to fix things for them. We want to make it better. We may take things on, like, we start bringing in shame and self-blame and guilt and all that stuff from, it's childhood stuff, it's past life stuff. And so just be aware, notice when this is happening for you, when there's something that triggers you, there's a situation, and then there's an emotion that comes up as a response. In our, I've just started teaching the Into the Light class, which some of you here are in. Hi. And in this is based on my book, and we're going through the chapters together in this like book club class, which I'm teaching with Heidi Simons. And the first, month is focused on quieting the mind. And so that's what we're all doing is, really developing a regular meditation practice, which I call quieting the mind. And the reason that's so important is that trains us to at least be aware of the emotions that are coming up. And of course, the thoughts that come up that maybe aren't for our highest good, or that the ego will tell us, you're not, you can't, you should or shouldn't, or it will never, or people might, or those sorts of things. So just, and it may be frustrating because we sometimes think, I want to understand how I can clear this. How can I move through this situation? And we get frustrated when we don't feel like we know. Unfortunately, what people can do is they say, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with this. I can't deal with this. We want to make sure we don't say those words or think them too much. This isn't like denying our feelings, and it's really allowing ourselves to process that. But the words, the repetitive thoughts, I can't, especially, I've been hearing that a lot from people, or I don't know how. What that is from a vibrational perspective, is it's saying, putting up a stop sign and saying, no, I don't want to do this. So we want to, something we feel like we can't do, or we don't know how to do. Usually we want to do it, but there's fear. So instead of saying I can't or I don't know, just can we open the door to something like I want to, or I'm learning to, or I'm opening to, and then that does create the opening. That's the door opening for that to become a possibility for us. Got sidetracked in what I was saying, but I think, that's right. It's the healing the trauma, clearing the patterns, just noticing what's coming up, and allowing ourselves to just move through the process, just the awareness of what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, what we're thinking, can help transmute it and clear it. So what I want to do this evening is a meditation to bring in that sort of sense of peace and groundedness in the midst of chaos, and in witnessing no matter what, even though it's something that's completely unrelated to us, that we're seeing somebody else go through, and it makes us uncomfortable. We want to do something about it, but we can't, right? Or it's not for our It's not our choice. It's that person's free will choice in their own soul growth to go through this experience. How do we do that? How do we still stay grounded and anchored in um, our own, soul essence? And how do we stay grounded and anchored in our highest selves when they're being triggered by somebody else, by another person, which often is there's a lesson involved, or there's a pattern that comes up, a repeated thing that you experienced before, and you see there's a pattern, and you're like, well, now I clearly am in I have an opportunity to do it differently this time. So why is it happening again? Because now I get another chance to choose a different response. So even if you don't know what to do, well, try something different. If you don't know, like, what do you do? And there's a repeat. I have this pattern again. I see I'm in this cycle again. How do I break this pattern? Well, what did you do before? And it probably did. If it didn't work out so well before, when you probably know because there's a pattern that is repeating, then maybe try something differently. And ideally, it would be something that is kind and for the highest good of all. But it doesn't mean, for me, at least recently, I've taken a different approach of being, standing in my truth, having clear boundaries, and from a kind of compassionate way, but saying, no, this isn't okay. That's not okay for you to say that to me or for you to do that. And from people I wouldn't actually expect it from. So, all right. And that's the mountain energy, right? That's being strong and not being swayed. I just got to plug in my phone here. All right. So let's do the meditation. Okay. So you can close your eyes. And just begin to take a few deep inhales, deep cleansing breaths. Slow exhales out. Holding the breath if you can. It's a really wonderful way to do like a reset. And slowly exhaling. Bring your awareness to the air that you're inviting into your body, feeling it cleansing and resetting whatever maybe you've been carrying, and then slowly letting it out, releasing, letting go. And just allow your breath to flow naturally as it wants to. Just allow yourself to settle into your body. Allow your breath to slow. Allow your heart rate to slow. Notice how you're feeling. Scanning your body. Is there a place you're holding any tension or tightness or any emotion? And just bring your awareness to that place. Noticing what's there. We often go through our days not even being aware of what's happening in our bodies. We just go, go, go. So this is a time to just push the pause button and take an internal assessment, an internal scan, an external scan too. How am I doing? There's this guy I sometimes follow who says, how is your heart? I love that. How is your heart? How is your energy? And just allow the breath to flow up and down through the body. Allow your heart to open. Allow divine energy to flow into your chakra centers, opening your energy centers. Imagining that your energy, including your thoughts, has been like sea spray, stirred up, thrown up in the air from the waves that have been crashing, flying up, scattered. But now the wind has died down. The sea is calm. And your thoughts are sinking to the bottom. Your energy is settling. And just imagining your mind, your consciousness is resting on the surface of a glassy, calm ocean. The sky being reflected, you can see the clouds reflected in the surface of the sea. Blue, green, gray. And just allowed yourself to glide upon this image for a moment, to rest here as if you're floating on this glassy surface of water, feeling very safe, at peace. And just like in our world and our lives right now, we may be aware that way off in the distance, there's a storm, there's rain. You can see the rain clouds. You can see that the environment over there is in a storm cloud. It's under a storm cloud. There's turmoil, there's tumult. And part of you sees that and wonders if it's going to come over to you, or if you should go over there to help, or you may even feel guilty that the storm is not over you. But can you, for a moment, just allow yourself to be at peace with where you are, accepting that you and your soul growth are on your own unique path, and that where some other people are does not mean that you need to be in that same place. Can you trust that you're on the journey you're meant to be on? And go with the flow and allow the currents around you to take you to where you're meant to be. Knowing you may use your hands or a paddle to adjust with your free will, to make your corrections with your own choices, course corrections. But you know that the current of the sea, which is your soul contract, which is your fate, which is predestination, is much stronger than you. And so you always go with that flow. You always allow the current to carry you. Notice where the flow is going, and you align with that as much as you can. And somehow you stay in this calm spot, like a mountain that is strong and stable and grounded and anchored and unfazed, unaffected by a storm. You are that mountain. You are strong. You are grounded. You know where to go deep down. And you feel the presence of guardian angels and ascended masters, divine guides, archangels, deceased loved ones, multidimensional beings who are hovering above you, who are near you, behind, below, in front of, above you, guiding you, giving you hints, giving you clues, nudging you along, encouraging you, supporting you unconditionally, and loving you no matter what. Feel their presence, feel their energy. Take a moment here. Just allow this flow and this peace to permeate into our inner beings. If any thoughts come in, just bring your awareness back to the surface of that water, back to the light that's with you, or back to the image of yourself as a mountain. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Just rest in this feeling of stillness. Allow yourself to float here for a little bit longer. Your heart opens and loves this energy. Your higher self begins to get closer to be able to speak to you. In these moments of space between the thoughts. See if you can rest there a little bit longer each time. Sometimes it feels like we're hanging on for dear life, hanging on to a lifeline, to a life buoy, life vest, but that's okay. And then the waters get calmer, the energy dissipates. This too shall pass. When we feel like we don't know if we can do it anymore, if we can keep getting up and putting one foot in front of the other and doing the work. Call upon help. Ask your support team, your spirit team to help you, especially angels. Just ask. Notice what happens. Shifting energy, something will come in. You don't have to do this alone. We're meant to ask for help. We're shifting into higher states of consciousness, higher states of being, moving into 5D more and more and more. But it's a peeling away from 3D, which can feel like peeling off a Band-Aid. It's not always pleasant. But when we get that Band-Aid off, there's a relief. We know we've been healed, we're free. So we're moving into that more and more. We step in and we step out more and more every day. So just trust that you're being guided. And this is part of the ascension process. So if you want to bring your hands in prayer position, your heart center, you can do that. Just giving thanks, or over your heart or in your lap, honoring yourself, honoring this experience. Feel that light encircling you, wrapping you like a nice warm towel, just feeling this real energy hug. And then whenever you're ready, you can stretch out a little bit, come back in your body and open your eyes. How are you all doing? So I hope that was helpful for you in some way. I like to do, it's important whenever you're doing meditation to give yourself some time to just have quiet. And that's what I tried to do. I try to do that in my guided meditations, to give you some time to just have me not talking, but just have quiet. Or even if you're listening to anybody do a guided meditation, try to find the ones where they give you space, because that is when it's harder, right? Because you've got to bring yourself back into, like come back to the breath, come back to, let go of thoughts. But it's training. You're training your brain. You're literally doing some neural rewiring of the neural pathways, activating different parts of your brain. And then you're opening your third eye. You're allowing your higher self to connect with you more and more. And the ego, we see it better. We see it easier. See it for what it is. We can separate from it. So, all right. That's all I got. I've been taking a little breather between all the things I've been doing, but I'm going to be sharing a retreat that I'm going to be doing in this winter with Cheryl Horton, who I love doing retreats with. She makes delicious raw food. Not just, actually, it's not raw anymore. It's vegan food. We make some hot food in winter, at least. And we're going to be really doing, it's about healing. So creativity and healing. So stay tuned for that. I haven't even hosted it yet. Also, this Monday is a New Earth Collective gathering. We're going to be making apple cider vinegar and learning from this amazing homeschooling mom as a friend, Crystal Carter. She's so much knowledge, so much information to share about food preservation and just, harvesting what is in our yard and making things from the gifts of the earth, like apple cider vinegar. It's seasonal, it's apple time here in Maine in the fall. So that's in person. So if you want to join us, please come check that out. We meet every month in person, a few times a month virtually, and we learn about different things together. It's a group of light workers. I share a lot of different online resources with people too. So it's a really wonderful community. If you want to check it out, you can also just drop in. So yeah, and I'll be having some other exciting things coming up soon too. I'm not going to tell them all to you guys because it's I don't want to overload you with stuff. Overload myself with stuff. But all right, that's all I got. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.